tell you about my best friend, a warm-hearted.
Hey y'all, my name is Laura, and today I want to show you how to paint your own Anibike. One fun thing to get you started is to come up with a name for your Anibike. This is going to be your pet. So for this guy, I want to call him Cupid. One of the first things that I like to do is start with the hair because it's such a large area that you have to cover with paint. Again, this guy is named Cupid, so I'm going to choose a really dark red. One fun thing for you with your Anibike might be to think about the name, think about what that looks like to you, what colors, do you have a theme, and then go from there. So I'm going to get started with this. So I've covered the entire hair with a red, but I want to add some contrast. Before I can go on with another color, I need to let it dry. Give it just a few minutes until it doesn't look wet, and then you can add more colors right on top. Hey y'all, we're back. We waited about 5-10 minutes and it's pretty dry. Still be careful with it. Looks like there's some wet spots, but I want to add in some contrast. And the great thing about this latex paint is that you can always go back and touch it up. You can add more detail. If it gets scuffed up after you've had it for a while, or if you just want to add more, more embellishment to it later, you can always go back and add more. So I'm going to use this black, and I'm just going to add in some detail into the hair.
I like what you do to my hair. Who knew that looking a mess could feel so good? I like what you do to my hair. Constantly tease it, run your fingers through it.
Okay, so we've just added some contrast and definition to the hair. I'm pretty pleased with it, and we're gonna let that dry for a minute and move on to another part. But one thing I wanna remind you is that there's no wrong way to paint your Anibike. It can look like whatever you want it to. Just take your time, be creative, have fun. And for me, I really want this guy to have a gold horn. So that's gonna be the next step.
Golden years go, golden years go.
Okay, so I've just done a gold layer of latex on the horn, but one important thing to keep in mind is that you're gonna have a lot of fun with this Anibike, and this might get bent or knocked around, so in time that latex paint might come off. Another good idea is to cover it with glitter, or just to go back regularly and touch up the paint. You might add a second layer of the paint just to give it some extra durability there. Okay, so we want to bring some life to Cupid here, and can't forget to add some white to the eye, or just, focus on the eyes. I want to use this white, but it's important to realize that you want to use the right size paintbrush. So for the hair, we use this really big paintbrush. You can get a variety pack of paintbrushes at any local craft store or online. And for the eyes, I'm going to use this small one and just add a nice white background.
In your eyes, the light, the heat. I am complete. Your eyes, see the.
So I just added one layer of white to the eyes, which will give it a nice background. One thing to keep in mind is that you need to let each part that you've just painted dry completely before adding a second layer or touching it up, or the colors might get smudged up together. So I'm gonna let those eyes dry, might go back and do a second layer, maybe just focus on adding some sweethearts to the cheeks. I know I want to do a sweetheart with an arrow through it since his name is Cupid. So let's focus on that next.
Love will keep us together. Think of me, babe, whenever.
Okay, so I'm loving the way that this guy looks. I just added these fun sweethearts to Cupid. The next important part is to go back to the eyes and really bring some realistic life to this guy. There's actually two parts to the eye that are the iris is the colored part of the eye, and so in humans that could be blue or brown or green, and then the dark part is called the pupil. And for Cupid here, I want him to look more like a cartoon character, so I'm just going to do a black circle that'll be both the iris and the pupil. But for your Anibike, you can do whatever color you want.
Going to 1,000 churches, the resolution of all the fruitless searches. Oh.
I'm really excited. We're pretty much done. I think Cupid is looking awesome. I do want to go back and add just a few tiny details. I'm going to add an arrow through our heart, maybe a little white dot to bring some light to the eyes, and just touch it up and get them ready to go.
Golden years, don't let me hear you say life's taking you nowhere. Look at that sky, life's begun.
I've added all the fine details. I'm pretty happy with the way he looks. Added a little dot to the eye to bring some light and some eyelashes. Added a little bit more dimension to the hair. And I'm really excited that you followed along on this journey. Thank you for watching as we created Cupid. I'm ready to put him on my bike and just go outside, ride around, and show him off.
Nights are warm and the days are young. There's my baby lost, that's all. What time